In this video, we are going to talk about the geography of the Omaha area. Now, this is going to be great if you are thinking about moving to Omaha, or you've decided to move to Omaha but don't really know where things are at. We'll talk about where the suburbs are at, where's downtown, the airport, and a bunch of other stuff, as well as what are the major streets that you need to know about? My name is Ryan Renner, and I am a real estate agent here in Omaha with Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate, the Good Life Group. Now, I've helped a lot of people relocate to Omaha, and I also created a website called omaharelocation.com to help guide people during the process. And if you are looking to move here and purchase a home, please reach out to me. This video is going to be kind of a general overview of the Omaha area. I'm not going to go into an extreme amount of detail. If you want more details on some of the other areas in town, please take a look at my other videos. And because we are talking about the geography, let's go to my computer and pull up Google Maps. So here is a very zoomed out view of the Midwest of the United States. So Omaha is in Nebraska. Now, Omaha is on the eastern side of the state, and it borders Iowa. Now, if we zoom in, Lincoln is going to be down here. Lincoln is the state capital of Nebraska. Some people get that mixed up and think Omaha is the capital. Well, it's actually Lincoln. So Lincoln's about a 45-minute to an hour drive from Omaha. It kind of depends on where in Omaha you are at and where in Lincoln you want to go, on how quickly you can get there. Now, some boundaries, areas you may want to be aware of. So the Missouri River. So the Missouri River is going to be kind of this dotted line here. Let me pull up. Good to see the Missouri River there. Keeps going up here. The Missouri River is what separates Iowa and Nebraska. That is the natural boundary between the two states. Now, a little fact that may be useful to you, may not be. In the late 1800s, the channel of the Missouri River actually changed a little bit because of a big ice dam. And so the boundary of Nebraska and Iowa, it didn't switch, but it kind of changed a little bit. So this dotted line right here is where the channel used to be. And so when you go to fly into the airport and you go south, heading towards downtown, you actually will travel from Nebraska into Iowa. So this is actually called Carter Lake, Iowa. And this lake is what was kind of left over of the channel. You'll go from Nebraska into Iowa very briefly, and then back into Nebraska. So interesting little factoid that you may want to know. So the Missouri River is what separates Iowa and Nebraska. Now, the main city across the river from Omaha is called Council Bluffs. And a couple other rivers that you may want to be aware of. Down here, you've got the Platte River. So the Platte River kind of snakes its way down to the south of Omaha. It's actually a boundary that separates Cass County and Sarpy County. We'll talk about counties in a little bit. Another river that you might want to be aware of is going to be the Elkhorn River. So the Elkhorn River is going to be this little blue line that snakes its way down there. That's kind of almost like the western edge of the Omaha area. That's another body of water you may want to be aware of. Let's talk about some of the landmarks and maybe attractions that you might have heard about in Omaha. So when you're kind of moving to a new city or visiting, the one main thing you want to know about is kind of where is the airport. So the airport is going to be right here. It is kind of to the northeast of downtown Omaha. So the nice thing about the airport in Omaha that universally or most people say it's easy to get to in most of the Omaha area, and it's also very easy to fly in and out of. It's a wonderful airport. Now, so that's Eppley Airfield, and downtown is going to be just to the south. So let's zoom in there, and right here you will have the Jean Leahy Mall. So the postcards that you might see of the Omaha area, that's where those are taken. And then the Old Market itself, which is also a popular area, is going to be right here. And there's going to be a lot of different things that, things to do at the Old Market. A lot of people, when they visit, will stay in or near the Old Market. Just to the north of downtown, you're going to have Charles Schwab Field. So that is where the College World Series is held. And then to the east of that is going to be the CHI Health Center. So that's the big arena and convention center in the area. So that's where big concerts are, where Creighton basketball is played. And then if we zoom out a little bit and go to the south, another major attraction in the Omaha area is the Omaha Henry Doorly Zoo. And that's going to be south of downtown, close to the Missouri River. It's going to be right here. And so it's right off of I-80 and 13th Street here. So that's where the Omaha Henry Doorly Zoo is. So if you're visiting Omaha, it's pretty easy to get to from downtown and from the airport. A few other places to take note of is Creighton University. So Creighton University is going to be right here. That's going to be the main campus. So it does have its medical center is at a different spot, but that's where Creighton University's main campus is going to be. And then the other university in the Omaha area is UNO. So that's going to be a little bit further to the west. That is going to be right here. So that's University of Nebraska, Omaha. It's also called UNO. You may see it as UNO. It's not UNO, it's UNO. So that's where University of Nebraska, Omaha is located. Now, the one other big place is the UNMC, University of Nebraska Medical Center. That's going to be right here. Let's jump back and talk about the counties in the Omaha area. So on this map here, I have 7 different counties that are highlighted. The 3 on the east are all going to be in Iowa. So the one up here is going to be Harrison County. That includes Missouri Valley. And then to the south is going to be Pottawatomie County. So you may see Pottawatomie spelled out and not really know how to pronounce it. It is pronounced Pottawatomie, and that includes Council Bluffs. To the south of that, you're going to have Mills County. Mills is going to include Glenwood, Pacific Junction, and that's going to be across from kind of Offutt Air Force Base, which I guess I didn't get into. So Offutt Air Force Base is going to be in Bellevue, and we'll talk about the different cities in a little bit. Getting into Nebraska counties, and also what I'll do is I'm going to put the population of these counties on here so you can kind of get a little bit better idea of what the different breakdown is in population. North of Omaha is going to be Washington County, so that's going to include Blair as well as Fort Calhoun. Omaha itself is located in Douglas County. So Douglas County also includes Bennington. It also includes Valley, Waterloo, Elkhorn, Boys Town. So Douglas County is going to be the most populous county in the area. To the south of Douglas County is going to be Sarpy County, and that's going to be the second most populated county in the area. So most of the time when you're, looking at moving to Omaha, you're probably looking at either Douglas or Sarpy County. So Sarpy County is down here. That includes Bellevue. It includes Offutt Air Force Base, Papillion, Gretna, Springfield. And then to the south of Sarpy County is going to be Cass County, and that will include Plattsmouth. That'll include Murray, Murdoch, and the Platte River, what I was telling you earlier, that is going to be kind of the boundary between Cass County and Sarpy County. Now, not necessarily important, but sometimes useful. The road that separates Sarpy and Douglas County is Harrison Street. So if you zoom in and you want to know the exact boundary between the two, it's going to be Harrison Street. So this map that I have pulled up is going to be from the Census Bureau from 2020. And this is kind of an overlay of population density to kind of give you an idea where people live. You've got kind of Douglas County here and then Sarpy County here. So the darker the color, the more population. So this is the kind of the downtown area. You can see lighter colors around here are going to be where there's a lot less population. And so kind of give you an idea, there's a little bit of density around Council Bluffs area. It still continues on to the west, but, most of the population in the Omaha area is going to be kind of centered around the Omaha area. And it continues to the development and construction and new homes are going to be where a lot of, these lighter colors are. So if you're looking to buy a new home, build a new home, or looking at the suburbs, they're going to be kind of in this area where it's lighter. Now, the metro area is made up of over 10 cities, and on this map, I actually have the boundaries of the cities, although I only really have the cities that are in Douglas and Sarpy County. Now, don't get too caught up on the actual boundaries themselves. I mainly did this to sort of illustrate, make it a little bit easier to see where the different cities are at. So we'll just kind of start up north, northwest. Up here you have Bennington. Now Bennington itself, the city is this boundary right here, but a lot of the population that will go to like Bennington High School, Bennington schools are surrounded. And I have more videos about school districts and school district boundaries. So take a look at that if you're really interested in the different school districts. The next city we can talk about, I guess we can talk about Omaha itself. Let me zoom in a little bit more. So here are the boundaries for the Omaha area. You'll see some that aren't highlighted. That means they're not annexed and officially part of the city. Don't get too caught up in that. So Omaha is this area right here. And then if we go down south, we'll get to Bellevue. So you can see Bellevue right there. Offutt Air Force Base is right next to Bellevue. Technically, Offutt Air Force Base is its own separate city jurisdiction area, so that's why it's not necessarily highlighted with Bellevue. If you go a little bit to the west, you've got Papillion and La Vista, and Papillion and La Vista, from a school district standpoint, are kind of consolidated into one school district. Ralston is in Douglas County. It's sort of kind of its own little community within Douglas County. So it's surrounded completely by Omaha and then borders La Vista to the south. If you keep going west, you'll get to Gretna, and it's kind of an interesting boundary right up against the I-80, the interstate there. But Gretna population is, all around this area. And then you get a few smaller communities to the west of like the Elkhorn River. You've got Waterloo right here and Valley. So like I said, there are other communities in the area. You've got, Blair up to the north here. You've got Fremont. You've got Plattsmouth down here. And then on the eastern side of, in Iowa, east of Omaha is Council Bluffs. So that's going to be the main city in Iowa. You've also got Carter Lake, which I kind of mentioned when I was talking about the Missouri River. And that's really just this area here. That's Carter Lake. Council Bluffs is all this area right here. I'm going to briefly touch on the school districts in the area. I'm not going to spend a ton of time, but the reason I'm going to do that is because sometimes the school districts are used in reference to geographic areas, not just the school district. And it's going to be helpful to kind of know where some of the school districts are at, because sometimes if you're moving to a new place, you've heard about a certain school district and you want to know where it's at. So I'll briefly touch on them. I have done other videos where I go into more detail. But on this map here, you're going to see all the different boundaries for the different school districts in Douglas, Sarpy, and a couple other counties in the Omaha area. But this is only on the Nebraska side of the river. So this big green area right here, that's going to be Omaha Public Schools, also called OPS. A couple others that are going to be in the Douglas County itself is West Side. So West Side is kind of Midtown, 80th and kind of Pacific area. And some people also call it District 66. So District 66, West Side, kind of mean the same thing, sort of. For a new person moving to the area, just kind of consider them the same. Just a little bit to the west is going to be Millard. Some people will call it Millard. It is pronounced Millard. So that's the Millard School District there. On the western side of Omaha, you've got Elkhorn. So Elkhorn's a pretty sizable school district that's growing pretty quickly because a lot of the new development is out in this area. And then you also have DC West. So the DC stands for Douglas County West. So Douglas County West includes Waterloo Valley. Bennington, right here in the purple, is also another fast-growing school district. To the north, we've got Fort Calhoun, we've got Arlington School District, and then Fremont. Heading kind of to the south and more Sarpy, Cass County area, you've got Gretna down here. And I don't think I touched on Ralston. So Ralston is a school district that's in Douglas County, smaller school district. Papillion, La Vista. So Papillion and La Vista are two separate cities, towns, but are sort of consolidated for their school district. So that's going to be right there. To the south of that is going to be Springfield, Platteview Community Schools. And then to round everything out, we have the Bellevue School District right here. Like I said, if you want more information about specific schools, more details, check out another video of mine and also check out my relocation website. Finally, let's talk about some of the major streets that you might need to be aware of when moving here. So interstates. The main interstate that runs through Omaha is going to be I-80. So you can see I-80 right here. And it will go up here and then go off to the east into Iowa. So I-80 goes through Lincoln as well. So if you're commuting from Omaha to Lincoln or vice versa, you're going to usually be taking I-80. Now, so this is I-80 right here. Now, if you decide to go north, this area here is going to be I-680. So sometimes people will, tell you 680 versus I-80. So 680 is going to be this offshoot to the north. And then there's I-480. That's going to be right here. Let me pull this up. So 480 is just this kind of narrow strip. And that is what people will use. They'll maybe take I-80 from West Omaha to get to work. And then if they're working downtown, they'll take I-80 to 480 and then, get off one of the exits. So there's 480 right there, which will then turn into Highway 75 to go towards North Omaha. If you take a look to the south, you have Highway 370. So Highway 370 connects kind of Bellevue Offutt Air Force Base to the interstate. And this is a main road that is used in Sarpy County, Papillion to commute and to travel from east and west. Another road that is used, it's actually freeway to commute if you're in Sarpy County. I guess I shouldn't just say commute. it's a main road people use, is the Kennedy Freeway. So the Kennedy Freeway is going to be this Highway 75 here. It's when you go south. So I mentioned Highway 75 goes north as well. So Highway 75 becomes I-480 in this small section here, and then it's Highway 75 again. When you are going down south, it's often called the Kennedy Freeway, Kennedy Expressway. It connects, Offutt Air Force Base, Bellevue, Sarpy County down here to I-80. It is a very heavy traffic freeway for commuting, and so it can get very busy during rush hour. Now, there's a major street in Omaha that I have not mentioned yet, and it's probably the most important street for a variety of reasons if you live in Omaha or kind of the Omaha area, and that's going to be Dodge Street. So Dodge Street is going to be right here. And let me zoom out a little bit and just kind of highlight it. So it is kind of a major street, and then it turns into kind of an expressway as you go further west. And so it connects West Omaha all the way to downtown Omaha, and then it, eventually, not to get into the nitty-gritty details, it doesn't technically connect you to Council Bluffs, but you can get from, anyway, won't go into the details. It's not worth it at the moment. But I do another video where I talk a little bit more in detail about commuting and getting around the different streets in the area. So you might want to check that out. So this is Dodge Street, and it also splits Omaha north and south. So it's kind of like the east-west split. So if you ever look at addresses in the Omaha area and it says, 150 North 50th, it generally means like it's a block north of Dodge. If you see like 2000 South, that's 20 blocks south of Dodge. And so Dodge is a reference point for a lot of people on, where you're going, how to get there. So you need to know where Dodge Street is. It's going to make your life a lot easier. Another interesting thing, or not interesting, but important thing to note is north-south, the streets are numbered that run north and south, and they are smaller towards downtown and get larger as you go east. So we'll say there's 10th Street here, and as you go west, they just continue to go up. So by the time you get to Elkhorn, it's like 204th Street. So this is going to be 204th Street right here. So kind of important if you're navigating around Omaha to know the lower the number, the farther east it is, the higher numbers are farther west. That was just a general overview of the Omaha area. If you have more questions or want to learn more about Omaha, check out some of my other videos and also visit my website, omaharelocation.com. And if you're looking for an agent, have questions that aren't answered, please reach out to me. I would love to help you.